songs. That's okay if you do, but sometimes I forget and I just think, why are we doing this? And one thing that I want to encourage you about worship is I want to remind you why we worship. And it's about, Luke just touched on it, but one of the main things is it's about perspective. When you come into a place like this and gather with people, and we begin to sing these songs, and we don't just sing one, we sing two, and then we sing three, sometimes we sing five. And the reason that we do that is because worship has this incredible ability to change our perspective. When I say that it changes our perspective, what I mean is it changes what we look at. What is our mind thinking about? What's our heart focusing on? And so in the first song, you might just still be thinking about all the things that happened at school, or you might be thinking about the argument you had with your mum and dad as you were walking out the door. You might be thinking about your social media or what's happening on there and all these things. But by the second song, after you've already sang about how good God is, and then the second song starts, and those thoughts and things begin to just start to fade a little. And by the third song, hopefully, you have spoken out enough life about how good God is and how faithful He is and how much He loves us, that there's this thing and shift that happens. And there's an old hymn that says, "Turn your eyes upon Jesus," and it says, "And the things of this world grow strangely dim." And that's what worship does for us. Things of this world grow strangely dim. Have you ever noticed when you're in a powerful worship moment, you are not thinking about how many likes you got on your photo and how come that person didn't follow you back? You're not thinking about that. You are just completely engaged with who God is. And that's what worship does for us. It doesn't, it's not just fun. It's not just so people can show off their musical ability. So the people of God can come together and say, the world can wait. God deserves our worship. We were listening to a message. We had a huge drive here. We drove all the way from Nashville. And so to get here to be with you guys. And so we listened to a sermon on the way, and the preacher was talking about that there's 7 different words for worship. And one of the words is, I can't remember the Greek word, don't quiz me on it or anything, but I remember the meaning. And it meant to come into the throne room. So they're talking about olden day times, people walking in, and there would actually be a king there. And so they're referring to this type of behavior, like we're coming to God as a king, and it says you kneel before Him. But one thing that caught my focus was that you actively keep your eyes on the King. Actively keep your eyes on the King, and that's what worship does. We actively choose to look at God, and the things of the world grow strangely dim. And so if you ever question, when we come in here and we're up here and we're like, come on guys, come down the front, we're going to worship, and every part of your flesh just goes, no! Trust me, I even do that on stage sometimes. We decide to put our eyes on the King. And worship allows us to change our perspective and see God for who He really is and who we are in His eyes. And so that's the awesome thing about worship.
I think one of the great things about what Jess just said is that